So I know I titled this video, Putting to Break 85. Let me say right up front, there's nothing magical about 85. You can use the techniques and the tips I'm going to give you here and the concept that I'm going to show you in this video to break 80, to break 90, whatever the number is for you, for a goal score you want to shoot and break consistently. The strategy that I'm going to give you here will help you with that. I chose 85 because I think if we're honest about what we shoot and we play it by the rules of golf, 85 is a good number for a whole lot of you, but you can adjust to make your number. Let's get started. So if you're going to talk about breaking 85 with your putter and with your putting, you first have to talk about how to get to the point where you are putting. And that means we need to talk about greens and regulation. I have really good news for you. You do not have to hit one single green in regulation to break 85. You can do that without hitting a green in regulation. So that's good news, but here's the bad news. You have to hit the green in, at worst, regulation plus one stroke. Here's what that means. If it's a par 3, you don't have to get on in your first shot, your tee shot, but you've got to get on the green somewhere in your second shot. If it's a par 4, you got to get on the green, not with your second shot, but on your third shot. Par 5 with your fourth shot. Not in regulation, you don't have to. It's nice if you do. That'll help you get even to a lower number. But you've got to hit the green in regulation plus one at worst. If you do, that's 54 strokes. 36 more gets you to 90, and we're going to talk about some more of that in a minute and how you get it down from there. But let's stop for just a minute. Knowing that you don't have to hit the green in regulation, think about that. That takes a lot of pressure off of you. That means on a long, difficult par 4 with a narrow fairway, it's probably a 3-shot hole for you anyway to get on the green. So now you don't have to hit driver and risk missing it or having a lost ball or that kind of thing. You make a better decision. And I'll tell you right now, if you're not breaking 85 consistently, it's not because you're not skilled enough to do that. It's because you make bad decisions and bad contact. And most of the time, the bad contact is because you're trying to hit a club off of a tee or out of a lie that you shouldn't hit that club. You ought to hit another club. You're trying to make a hero shot or a rare shot that you don't have the ability to make very often. So it's mostly bad decisions and a little bit of bad contact. Work on that till you get to the point where you're hitting greens in regulation plus one. That means on a difficult par 3, you don't have to hit the green. You don't have to go at the pin. You can go at the middle of the green or the front. There's a hole on my home course that is just a nightmare difficult par 3. If you hit it to the middle of the green or beyond, it's extremely sloped. It rolls off the back down into a wash that's about 10 feet deep. That's a lost ball. If you miss it to the right, you hope and pray that the ball stays in the bunker, because if not, it's going over into the wash, and that's a lost ball. If you hit it to the left, the locals call that the Valley of 4, because you then have to loft it high and stop it on a downslope that's running away from you into that bunker, or as a lost ball, they really ought to call it the Valley of 5 or 6 or give up. Because that's what it's a bear of a hole. It used to give me fits. And I've recently applied this technique that I'm teaching you, and I go to that hole. I don't care where the flag is. It's usually 165 to 180, something like that to the flag. I don't care. I don't shoot it. I'm not going for the pin. I know what club I'm going to hit on that hole before I leave the house. I'm going for the front of the green. Just land the ball on the front of the green and try to finish with my putter. There's about 15 yards between the end of the desert and the beginning of the green, and that's flat, relatively flat, level grass. So if I miss hit it a little bit and I'm short, I'm okay. I still got a chance to get up and down for par or up and 2-putt at worst for a bogey. But this attitude of I don't have to hit the green in regulation helps me make better decisions. and that leads to more confidence and better contact. You don't have to make hero shots. So that's number one. Now, number two, you have to eliminate 3 putts. 3 putts, you're not going to break whatever number you're trying to break if you have very many 3 putts. Now, key thing, when I say eliminate 3 putts, you're not going to wipe them out entirely. The guys who play golf for a living, the tour pros, they practice putting a couple of hours every day of the world, and they still 3-putt about once every second round. Point is, you can become that good where you have rounds without 3 putts. And for a lot of you, that's a huge accomplishment, because the average amateur golfer, the PGA says the average amateur golfer takes 40 strokes per round. No 3 putts would get you down to 36. So that's a good start. Get on the green in regulation +1, eliminate 3 putts. By the way, how do you eliminate 3 putts? Well, you practice until you can 2-putt from anywhere. Subscribe to this channel. Follow the tips and advice I give you here. That'll help you a lot. Key thing to not 3-putting is speed and distance control. Let's be realistic. Most of you can read a green well enough that you're going to get a line where you're not going to be off more than 3 or 4 feet on each side of the hole. Well, then if you add to that the proper speed, you're not going to be more than 3 or 4 feet short or long. And in fact, if you're wide more than 3 or 4 feet right or left, 9 times out of 10 it's because you hit it the wrong speed and it broke more or less than you anticipated, and that's why your line was off. Your line was actually right, but you hit it the wrong speed. So work on your speed and distance control, and then work on short putts. If you really don't have a lot of time to practice, just use the little time that you have and the warm-ups that you have. 30-foot lags, get those within a 3-foot circle, and then 3-foot finishing putts. That'll get you a long way towards eliminating 3 putts. Now let's pause and think about that. You're trying to break 90. You hit every green in regulation. You have no 3 putts. All you got to do is make 1 putt, or get 1 up and down, or hit 1 green in regulation. You broke 90. You're at 89. Congratulations. You're trying to get down to 85. Well, you hit 5 or 6 greens in regulation and you still don't have any 3 putts, and guess what? You've made your number. You add an up or down or 2 in there, and now you're in the low 80s. In fact, that's the next thing. Step 1, get on the green in regulation +1 at worst. Step 2, eliminate 3 putts. Step 3, get 6 up and downs. If you hit absolutely 0 greens in regulation, you don't have any 3 putts, you get up and down 6 times, you're at 84. Now you hit a green or 2 in regulation, you're in the low 80s. You hit 5 or 6 greens in regulation and get up and down 6 times, you broke 80. You're at 77 or 78. My point is, you can do this if you work on your game just a little bit. This ought to give you an idea and a concept of how important putting is to overall doing that. And by the way, the next video, this is kind of a little mini series or whatever, the next video I'm going to do is a cheat code for getting more up and downs, and you'll like that. It's a technique that I use a lot of times to get up and downs. Played at a local course here, Paiute, this past Sunday morning. Beautiful weather, but it was about 30, 35 mile an hour wind. It always is that way at Paiute. I shot even par 36 on the front 9, and I only hit 2 greens in regulation. I had 11 putts, had a lot of up and downs, made 1 birdie putt on one of the 2 greens I hit in regulation. And I'm not bragging on me, that's not the point of this. The point is, you don't have to be a highly skilled golfer and hit every fairway and hit every green to make your number. But you got to have a strategy. So here's what I want you to do. Try this and track your results. Is tracking this? So I tell you what I do. On the scorecard, you put your number, your score for that hole in the little box. In the upper left, if you want to track these, and you should track it, in the upper left corner, you put a dot if you hit the fairway, an X if you didn't. Obviously on the par 3s, nothing goes there. You put a dot in the upper right corner if you hit the green, an X if you didn't. And then the bottom right corner, you write a number, 1 or 2, however many putts you had for that hole. Start tracking how many greens you hit in regulation, and how many putts you have in a round at the very least, so that you keep up with that and you can make progress. Because when you start getting 6 up and downs and no 3 putts, and you're not missing the green where you're double missing or that kind, you're hitting it in regulation +1, you're going to start to achieve the numbers that we're talking about. I'm going to try to hit every green in regulation +1. That means if I miss the fairway off the tee, I'm not going to try to make the hero shot to make up for it and most of the time get myself in worse trouble and now take a 6 or a 7 or an 8 on the hole. I'm going to chip it out, take my medicine, get on the green with my next putt or my next shot, take my 2 putts and my bogey at worst, and walk away. Learn to have that kind of a strategy. Work on your putting until you have confidence that you can put a 30, 40-foot lag in a 3 or 4 foot circle around the hole and that you can make that next putt. Now you're not 3-putting. Then all you got to do is get 6 up and down. Not sucks. It doesn't suck at all if you make 6 up and downs. It helps your score a whole lot. Yeah, that was a great faux pas. Slip of the tongue. We'll probably leave it in. Make your 6 up and downs. Get out of there with the number you want to shoot, whether that's breaking 90, breaking 85, breaking 80, whatever your target is. If you'll try these techniques, it'll help you get there. You'll be surprised at the results. So give this video a follow, a like, or give this channel a follow and subscribe. Give this video a like. Share it with your friends. Be sure and click that bell notification so you'll be notified next week when I post the video with the cheat codes for getting up and down. And in the meantime, here's to you making more putts.